Hello, Wadsworth. How are you doing? And to everybody else that's watching online or just happens to be watching it, Tommy Maroon here as usual for the Tommy Maroon Sports Show. And just like we usually do, 3 topics. Cleveland Browns, Cleveland Indians, and this time Ohio State. And it's all going to be action-packed in these 15-some minutes. It's already underway as we are going to go with that trivia question of last week. Here it is. When did Wadsworth join the Suburban League? Got your answer? Because the correct answer is 1984. That's right. The Grizzlies joined the Suburban League in 1984, the 35th anniversary of the Suburban League, which formed in 1949. Another trivia fact for you. Time to go into the Cleveland Browns. We're going to take a look at a few stats from a few players. Baker Mayfield, of course, the big guy. We're going to go with him first. He's been sort of struggling so far in the preseason. Yet again, it's pretty early. 15 for 32, 149 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. But here's a guy who's been doing pretty well. His name is Dearness Johnson. And in the preseason, he's had 20 carries for 86 yards. Pretty impressive, but unfortunately does not have a touchdown. But DJ Montgomery on the air does. He has 5 receptions for incredible 124 yards, and as I previously mentioned, 1 touchdown. So he can definitely go long for those big passes. We're going to look at some newcomers for the Cleveland Browns. 3 of them are new, and 1 of them joining for a special occasion. First one we're going to look at is Kareem Hunt, who was a former Kansas City Chief from 2017 to 2018 with a big quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, and now he'll be here in Cleveland with another big quarterback. That man's named Baker Mayfield. He had a total of 2,151 rushing yards, 4.7 yards per carry, and 15 touchdowns. But however, he will be out for the first 8 games due to suspension. So we'll see if he can make a difference and be a big tandem with Nick Chubb, who, of course, made a big statement last year. And, of course, the trade of the season, the blockbuster trade of the decade, maybe. Odell Beckham Jr., that guy right there who makes those ridiculous catches. That's right, we got him in a trade. We gave up Jabril Peppers, a pick in the 2017 first round, and Kevin Zeitler, but this is looking definitely worth it. 5,476 receiving yards, 14 yards per reception, and 44 touchdowns. I just want to admire all these fantastic catches that Odell makes. Great to have you on this team. He is definitely going to be a part of a dynamic, explosive offense. I mean, we got a good defense, but Odell definitely helps us with the offense, for sure. And Kareem will hopefully as well. And speaking defense, we're going to look at the second-round pick of the 2019 NFL Draft, Greedy Williams of LSU. He was with them for 2017-2018, where he had 71 tackles and 8 interceptions. Pretty impressive. And last but most certainly not least, it's Phil Dawson. Phil Dawson retired after signing a 1-day contract here in Cleveland. And I believe he was the last Brown from the original 1999 expansion team to retire. I was here in Cleveland from 1999 to 2012. San Francisco from 2013 to 2016. Arizona from 2017 to 2018, where he had an incredible 83.8 career field goal percentage, 97.6 extra point percentage, and 441 career field goals made. So now, let's get away from the stats and try to go into the action, where we faced off against Tampa last week. Unfortunately, it did not go our way despite some pretty good defense. A 13-12 game for Tampa Bay. All points for Cleveland came on Austin Siebert field goals, and Baker Mayfield definitely had his struggles, going 10 for 26, only 72 passing yards, and 1 interception. Of course, no touchdowns. Meanwhile, the Buccaneers kicker Matt Gay made a 21-yard field goal to give Tampa a 13-12 lead with 15 seconds remaining at the time. So those are some Baker highlights. Hopefully we could see more of that. Time to go from one Cleveland team to another like we usually do. The Cleveland Indians. Gonna look at some hot players during the New York Mets Kansas City Royals series. First things first, Franmil Reyes, who has been red hot. 308 average, 3 home runs, and 7 RBIs. Pretty impressive. And there's also Tyler Naquin, who continues to do well. A massive 357 average, 5 hits, and 2 RBIs. And Jose Ramirez was doing good at 286 average, 1 double, 1 triple, and 1 RBI. And then got hurt on Saturday while swinging. And he's going to be out 5-7 weeks. He'll be out for the rest of the season. Bit of a frustrating ending to Jose, who definitely had a pretty rocky first half and started to get hot towards the second half. And unfortunately couldn't prove all of baseball that he was back because he got hurt. Next year, Jose, next year. Meanwhile, I want to talk about Yu Chang, who really, he's got a lot to celebrate. Though he only played 1 game during those 2 series. In that 1 game, he went 2 for 3, where he recorded his first career hit, which was a single, his first career triple, a walk, and scored his first 2 career runs. So congratulations to Yu Chang. He will be filling in for Jose most likely, along with Mike Freeman. Good luck to him. And, of course, Players Weekend. For the 3rd year in a row, the MLB is going with Players Weekend. They will wear nicknames on the back of their jerseys. In fact, this year the uniforms were in black and white because they, quote, bring the color. However, this was criticized by many fans and players, so I don't think we'll be seeing it next year. Quite a shame. I mean, they tried to experiment. You can't blame them for it. I guess sometimes it doesn't work out. Maybe next year they'll go back with the colorful uniforms, or maybe next year they'll keep it. The Indians played Kansas City in all 3 of the Players' Weekends during its history. Some of my favorite nicknames, one of them right there, Francisco Lindor, Mr. Smile. Can't go wrong with that. Shane Bieber, not Justin. Get that right, Topps cards, because in case you don't know, Topps accidentally called Shane Bieber Justin. Oh, man, poor Shane. And Carlos Carrasco, again with the cookie emoji. He's had a lot of rehab starts in Akron. I believe he will be up in Columbus soon. Can't wait to see him back on the field with his cancer battle. Pretty inspirational, pretty good story, must say. Now time to look at the series. Cleveland Indians were up against the New York Mets. Just, I believe, the 3rd time, I think. No, 2nd time we were at Citi Field. We lost the series. We got swept, actually. 3rd time we've been swept all season. First one was to Kansas City. Next one was to Oakland. We did not get our first hit until 6th inning on the 3rd game, which got canceled after 8 innings. And we finished the New York road trip at a disappointing 2-5. But you know what? There was a lot of goodness to come later on because we played against Kansas City, and we did them well. There's Mike Freeman with an infield broken bat single. We won the series 2-1. Lindor had a 2-run jack on the 23rd first game. Meanwhile, Franmil Reyes hit a big 3-run shot on the 24th the next day, and here it goes on this 0-1 count. Franmil is really fun to watch, I ever tell you. And Mike Clevenger also recorded his 500th career strikeout on that same day. Congratulations to Mike Clevenger. And Franmil wasn't done there. The next day, he hit a dramatic 3-run, 2-out, 2-strike game-tying blast. However, Kansas City would win the game in 10 innings, unfortunately, so I guess it was all for naught, but it's still okay. He finished the season 12-7 against Kansas City and won 12 out of our last 16 against the Royals, so I call it a success. Now time to go to the Ohio State Buckeyes. We're going to look at the coach Ryan Day, the 25th coach in the history of the Ohio State Buckeyes was the quarterback coach for Philadelphia from 2015, Philadelphia Eagles, and San Francisco 49ers in 2016. Was the offensive coordinator at Ohio State from 2017 to 18 and was the head coach for 3 games in 2018, going perfect 3-0. His weapons he's going to go with, why, some of them include Justin Fields, a sophomore quarterback filling in big shoes for Dwayne Haskins. Sophomore quarterback, 6'3", 225 from Kennesaw, Georgia. Meanwhile, there's J.K. Dobbins, a junior running back who has really been tearing it up. Look at him run. He can really do that for a long time. Standing at 5'10", 208 from LaGrange, Texas. There's also K.J. Hill, a senior receiver who looks definitely NFL caliber at 6 foot, 198 from Little Rock, Arkansas. There's also Austin Mack, a senior receiver for Ohio State at 6'2", 225 from Fort Wayne, Indiana. And last but most certainly not least, there's Chris Olave, a sophomore receiver, standing at 6'1", 170 from San Marcos, California. So, as usual, Ohio State definitely has a dominant offense. We'll see if they could show it. Now, time to look at the Buckeyes' schedule, and it's right there. Definitely a lot of easy teams for the first part against Florida Atlantic, Cincinnati, Indiana, and Miami. But yeah, again, you can't discredit those schools because you never know. Just like what I say for high school football, you never know. Some top 25 teams will face off against. Why, we will be facing off against number 24 Nebraska on the 28th of September. And then the next week we'll be going up against Michigan State here at Columbus. Then we will play Wisconsin on the 26th, again at Columbus. And then Penn State here again at Columbus. They are number 15 on November the 23rd. And number 7, Michigan. The biggest rivalry, one of the biggest rivalries in all sports. It's going to be at the Big House in Ann Arbor, Michigan. But, hey, we're still pretty good against them. In fact, 9 out of the 12 teams we face off against this year are in the Big Ten. And I believe it's only Florida Atlantic, Cincinnati, and Miami, Ohio. Those are the only ones that are not part of it. And Ohio State, Michigan, of course, as I previously mentioned, at Michigan Stadium. But yet again, Ohio State has one of the last 7 matchups between them, starting from 2012 and onwards. And every year they seemingly have their number. And I believe they have won all of them but one from 2004 and onwards. I don't know if I'm right about that. But here's something I'm saying. I think the Buckeyes will go 12-1, win the Big Ten championship, and have a good chance to be in the college football playoffs. Who will our loss be to? I feel like it's going to be between Michigan State, Wisconsin, or Penn State. It's really hard to go perfect in college football, so we're probably going to lose to one of those teams, but yet again, we are still a very talented college football team for sure. So that will do it for this week. Of course, next week, as usual, a lot of stuff to talk about, including, again, the Cleveland Indians and the NFL preview. It's the 100th anniversary of the NFL. I am very excited for it. I think you are as well, if you are watching. And the Suburban League recap, of course. We're going to look at so many games, including what's been the game of the week on WKYC. The Highland Hornets going up against the Wadsworth Grizzlies. To me, this might be one of the biggest games of the season, and definitely one of the biggest games in the state this week. A lot of eyes on these guys, so best of luck to both of these teams. Of course, high school football is one of my favorite sports to cover, just due to how fun it is. And of course, we can't be done without doing my trivia question of the week, so here we go. How many national championships have the Ohio State Buckeyes won? That's right, how many national championships have the Ohio State Buckeyes won? You got your answer? Why, think it through for a whole week and see if you got right or wrong. Till then, this is Tommy Maroon saying so long, and until we meet next week, goodbye.